The 2025 postseason was filled with fire, passion, and absolute chaos, moments that will be remembered for years, not just by fans but by the players themselves who lived through the storm. From explosive home runs to jaw-dropping defensive plays, this postseason had everything: heartbreak, redemption, and raw emotion that defined baseball at its very core. The stadiums across America turned into arenas of thunder, each one echoing with the energy of fans who knew they were witnessing history in real time. It all began with teams entering the playoffs hungrier than ever. The energy was different this year. The regular season had already been intense, but once October arrived, every inning felt like a war. Players were not just competing, they were battling for their legacy. The crowd could feel it, the tension was thick in the air. Every pitch, every swing, every slide meant something deeper than the scoreboard could show. The term, patkas, became the perfect word to describe what was happening: fireworks, explosions, and shockwaves that rippled across the baseball world. It wasn't just about home runs. It was about moments so powerful that they could change the direction of a series in an instant. Some players crumbled under the spotlight, while others became immortal in its glow. One of the earliest, patka, moments came when a wildcard team stunned the league's top seed. The underdogs came into the series with nothing to lose, yet they played with a fearlessness that caught everyone off guard. Their ace pitcher delivered a performance so dominant that analysts were calling it one of the most clutch postseason games in a decade. Every strike he threw was met with an eruption from the stands. As the series progressed, tensions built up even more. Rivalries reignited, emotions boiled over, and tempers flared. Dugouts became battle zones of adrenaline. There were near brawls on the field, controversial calls that left fans screaming at their screens, and social media debates that lasted for days. The 2025 postseason wasn't just a competition, it was a full-blown spectacle. The American League side saw one of the most explosive matchups in recent history. Two powerhouse teams collided, one known for its offense, the other for its pitching precision. The result was cinematic. The series was a back-and-forth slugfest, with both teams refusing to back down. Each game ended with heart-pounding drama, walk-offs, comebacks, and last-second saves. Meanwhile, over in the National League, it was all about dominance and resilience. A team that had been counted out mid-season suddenly came alive in October. Their young stars played with an edge that reminded everyone of how unpredictable baseball can be. One rookie outfielder, barely 21 years old, delivered one of the most iconic moments of the postseason, a diving catch that saved the game and the series. That single play became a viral moment across the sports world. The deeper the playoffs went, the more intense the pressure became. Players started showing signs of exhaustion, yet they kept pushing forward. Every game was a test of endurance, both physical and mental. Coaches strategized like chess masters, pulling off daring moves that sometimes looked insane, until they worked. The highlight reels from this postseason could fill an entire documentary. From monster home runs that disappeared into the night sky to pitchers screaming in triumph after striking out legends, the postseason had it all. Some teams crumbled under the noise, while others thrived on it. The fans were just as much a part of the story. Every chant, every gasp, every roar fueled the players. Then came the championship series, the ultimate clash. Two teams that had survived every battle now faced each other under the brightest lights. It wasn't just a series, it was a war of wills. Game after game, momentum swung like a pendulum. One night, a team would dominate, the next, they'd fall apart. Every hit, every error carried enormous weight. In one unforgettable game, the score was tied going into extra innings. The tension was unbearable. The crowd stood for every pitch, their voices trembling with anticipation. Then, out of nowhere, a pinch hitter, a player who had barely seen the field all postseason, connected with a fastball that screamed off his bat and soared over the fence. The stadium erupted. That home run wasn't just a game winner, it was a statement, the kind that would echo through baseball history. Pitchers, too, had their share of patka moments. One ace delivered a shutout with 15 strikeouts, silencing critics who had doubted him all year. His performance became legendary, earning comparisons to postseason greats like Madison Bumgarner and Randy Johnson. Every strikeout sent a message: this was his stage, his moment, and he wasn't going to let anyone take it away. But baseball, as always, is unpredictable. In another game, a dominant team's bullpen completely collapsed in the ninth inning, giving up a 5-run lead in shocking fashion. It was one of those moments that left fans stunned in silence. The opponent's dugout exploded in celebration, while the losing side stood frozen, unable to process what had just happened. Social media exploded too. Hashtags trended worldwide as fans argued over plays, decisions, and controversial umpire calls. It wasn't just baseball anymore, it was an emotional roller coaster that everyone wanted to be part of. By the time the World Series arrived, the stage was set for the most dramatic showdown imaginable. The teams that made it there had fought through every obstacle. Game 1 started with fireworks, literally and figuratively. The first pitch was hit for a leadoff home run, setting the tone for what would become one of the wildest series in modern baseball. There were rain delays that stretched games late into the night, adding to the suspense. Players stood soaked in the dugout, waiting, focused, and ready to explode once play resumed. When it did, it was chaos. In one rain-soaked inning, 3 home runs were hit back to back to back, leaving fans in disbelief. Then came the defensive magic, double plays that seemed impossible, outfield throws that cut down runners by inches. Every inch mattered in this series, every second counted. You could see it in the players' eyes, the exhaustion, the hunger, the desperation to win. As the series neared its end, it was tied. Both teams had given everything, and now it came down to one final game. The atmosphere was electric. Fans filled the stands hours before first pitch, holding banners, chanting, and praying for their team's victory. The tension was so thick you could feel it through the screen. The final game delivered beyond expectations. Early on, one team jumped ahead with a massive 3-run homer, but the other clawed back inning by inning. Pitching changes, pinch runners, clutch hits, it was the perfect storm of strategy and emotion. In the bottom of the 9th, the game was tied again. 2 outs. A runner on third. The batter stepped in, the crowd holding its breath. The pitcher wound up, the ball flew, and with one mighty swing, crack. The sound echoed through the stadium. The ball sailed deep into the outfield, dropping just short of the wall but enough to bring the runner home. The crowd exploded. Players stormed the field. Fireworks burst into the sky. It wasn't just a win, it was an eruption, the final, patka, of a postseason that had already given fans more than they could have dreamed of. The players hugged, cried, and shouted as confetti rained down. When the dust settled, analysts and fans agreed, the 2025 postseason would go down as one of the wildest and most emotional in baseball history. From unexpected heroes to fallen giants, from legendary comebacks to shocking collapses, it was everything that makes baseball the greatest drama in sports.